Hey everybody, I'm just getting the stream set up on my computer, making sure everything's good to go. I know it's been a hot minute, but we're not going to shy away from the obvious subject, and then we're going to let the conversation go from there. Dust cover. Jesus was first today, you guys. Jesus was first. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day to be a neighbor. Would you be mine? All right, everybody. We're here. If somebody wants to throw a banner message up, that would be awesome. Pest, according to my stream, according to the chat, you were right behind Jesus. Jesus is the top. Here. Hold on. There you go. Jesus was top. Number one was Jesus. Sorry, bud. Sorry, bud. Well, that's... John, you probably shouldn't break into anybody's house. That would be my suggestion. Don't break into people's houses. All right, everybody. We got 50 people watching. I'm excited to talk to everyone. And we're obviously not going to shy away from the big thing. I've been quiet. I had an initial like, hey, these are my thoughts, because I just wanted to really gather my thoughts, and I wanted to see how things evolved. I didn't want to put out incorrect information. So I hope everybody respected that. JV, I did like Charlie Kirk. I did like Charlie Kirk. I liked him a lot. Okay. All right. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that, chill, man. We'll talk about it. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is thank you guys for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for being patient. You guys know I've been putting on the uniform, and I haven't been as accessible, and I've been doing like a night shift, so it's been even harder. Max Damage Plus, he was not any of those things, but if you want to feel that way, that's fine. Daniel, that's fine. I like my style. It's part of the channel. It's just part of the joke. So thank you everybody for being here. Did somebody do a Did somebody give me a banner message yet? Did anybody, any of my mods or anybody? No, we're not going to run him off. We're not going to run off Max. We're not going to silence him. That's not what Charlie Kirk would want. That's not what Charlie Kirk would do. Juju, I'll answer your question in just a minute. Thank you, Vince. All right, so we've got our message. So, as you guys know on the channel, we have our goals that we set every day. So let's do this. We've got 97 people watching. Let's say we'll do our push-ups video. By the way, I got a 91.7 on my fitness test, so thank you everybody for helping me get that 91.7. But let's say at 75 likes, we'll do push-ups. At 200 likes, we'll do a toast. We all know what we're going to toast to today. And then if we get to 350 likes, I'll do a giveaway. Does that sound okay to everybody? If we get to 75 likes, we'll do our push-ups. And we'll talk about raising awareness for people struggling with mental health and depression and mental illness. If we get to 200 likes, we'll do a toast. We'll do gin today. We'll do gin. We'll do a gin toast. And then if we get to 350 likes, we'll do our like giveaway that we do on the stream, where you can get a hat, a snake, or a big mug. So thank you everybody for watching. Let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm not a Mormon, white line. So the first thing we want to talk about. Somebody asked, what kind of firearm was used and to murder Charlie. So from the videos and the pictures that I've seen, it used a Mauser bolt action. But there's some incorrect information that's out there. Everybody keeps saying it's an imported rifle. From what I can tell, it looks like a Savage Axis 30-06 that used a Mauser bolt action. So the rifle itself was made by, it looks like it's a Savage Axis. It looks like it's just one of those cheap $300 bolt actions with a composite stock. And then so Mauser, you guys, so I know everybody it said Mauser. All right, you have to remember the action, that type of bolt, that is a Mauser. That's a Mauser bolt. So like a Springfield 1906 or Springfield 1903, that uses a Mauser action. The bolt on a Springfield 30-06 is a Mauser bolt. So they're saying a Mauser import, but if you look at the rifle, it's like very clearly like a plastic rifle. Mauser doesn't make plastic rifles that I'm aware of. So it was, but the big thing is it was 30-06, and it was a bolt action rifle. So yeah, all my guns are real. Bruce, no, you can go to a range. You should be able to. You just go to the range and talk to them. You should be able to shoot without any issues, as long as you're not restricted. You don't have anything that would prevent you. They'll ask you some questions. You can shoot a gun at a gun range. So anyways, yeah. Second thing, There's a lot of talk about, was it a professional hit? How well was this kid trained? Is it just a false flag? Like, no. I've been shooting long enough. I've shot enough with people that are like professionally trained. Like, this was an instance where this kid bought a rifle. I don't think he swapped the stock. I think what likely happened is, if it was a stock swap, that might be different. What's going on, J-Dog? But if it wasn't a stock swap, that doesn't really matter. Like, whether the stock was swapped or not doesn't really matter. I think we're getting stuck on things. But the scope that was mounted on it was mounted not great. It had very poor eye relief. It was mounted way further back than it needed to. This was not a professional job. He was profiled on a roof. He wasn't hidden underneath anything. He wasn't trying to hide where he was. He just went to where he would have the best vantage point. So that being said, like, this was someone who probably was familiar enough, went hunting once or twice a year, maybe went to the range once or twice a year, shot with family and friends. It seems that that's kind of the background that this kid had. I'm not going to say his name. I would prefer if everybody didn't say his name. I don't want to give him any more attention than he already has. I personally hope that they give him the death penalty, because he doesn't deserve to live in like infamy and be treated as like this great person. He's not. He's a piece of shit. And yeah, the shot itself was 142 yards. That's not a hard shot. That's not even a hard shot with a smaller caliber rifle. 30-06 is a reasonable caliber rifle, and it's used all over the U.S. And yeah, so in Utah we have the death penalty. Yes. Big Racer. My Henry is a 45-70. Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't. Everybody, it's like, could you hit a target like the jugular from 200 yards away? I don't think people understand. That's how I know that a lot of people don't understand how guns work and about ballistics and stuff. Charlie didn't appear to be wearing like ceramic plates or even steel plates. Looked like he was just wearing Kevlar. And even if he was wearing Kevlar with like a steel trauma plate, that wouldn't have stopped the 30-06. So I can promise you the person that made the shot was either shooting right at his head, was aiming at his head, or was aiming like up here towards his chest. Or maybe even more towards his heart, because the heart to the neck would be that's not unreasonable to think that he could have sloughed the shot. I'm not promoting it, I'm just telling you that's the way that hunting and shooting works. So I want to make sure that, and that's if he even had body armor on. Dust, you bring up a good point. If he even had body armor. If people want to spam the chat, let them spam the chat. I don't care. So we can deal with people spamming the chat. It's fine. Yeah, the shooter's motive was to kill Charlie. We know that. So we're going to talk about that, gamer, Dr. J. We'll talk about it. That's fine, RL. That's fine. I was actually talking about the guy that shot Charlie Kirk. The context was he shot someone who was speaking and wanted to have discourse. There doesn't need to be any other context. Murder is bad. There is no situation where murder is okay. Anyone who's saying, we don't understand the context of what this kid did, he murdered an innocent man. All right? And if you want to argue that Charlie Kirk deserved what he got, I would ask, why did he deserve that? And then, for what circumstance? That's the people that are arguing that Charlie Kirk deserved what he got are the same people that would argue a woman deserves to be assaulted because she dresses a certain way. There are no circumstances where that's true. It just simply is not true. I don't agree with most people that are leftists. I don't. But I would never, ever, ever, ever advocate for someone to harm them. Under no circumstances. I despise most of the people on the left. But it doesn't mean I want them to be silenced. Discourse is good. You guys that have been here for a long time, you guys that have been part of my channel since the beginning know that I say discourse is good. We need to have discourse. We need to disagree. When we have disagreements, then it forces us to come out of our echo chamber, and it forces us to think critically, and it forces us to wonder and ask, are we right or are we wrong? All right? So discourse is a great thing. I don't have a phone number to call in, Stefan. If you have a statement, Stefan, if you want to have a conversation, go ahead and type your question, or go ahead and type your statement. I love Charlie. I thought he was a great debater. I thought that he was respectful. He always wanted to give people the opportunity to speak. You know, he even let people talk over him at times because he didn't want to get into fights with people. He just wanted to have hard conversations. So, yeah. So I'm trying to follow up with the things. Hey, Philippine freighter. Oh, going to Blade West in October. Oh, that's a good question. I actually don't know if I'll even be in Utah in October. There's a chance that I might be going on a trip with the military, so I don't know if I'll be around. Thank you, Darkblade. Single event. Single event. You said Charlie Kirk reaped what he sowed. So you're saying he deserved to get shot. He deserved to be murdered. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I just want to make sure that, you know, when you say things like he reaped what he sowed, I just want to make sure you understand you're saying he deserved what happened. You're saying that people deserve to be murdered. That's what you're saying. Fantastic, Mr. Fox. You're saying the same thing, that people deserve to be murdered. People deserve to be murdered for speaking. You're wrong, YouTube. System notification. Thank you, gamer. Also, everybody, just so you're aware, anyone who is, I need to make sure I'm putting this in. Let's get some W's. When people donate to the channel, that's huge because I haven't been able to create a lot of content lately. So I really appreciate when you donate to the channel. That's how we grow, that's how we earn money, and that's how we buy new weapons for the channel. So, for everybody that was for everybody that donated to the channel. So thank you, everyone. Let me take a look. Where are we at on likes? 45 likes. Okay, everybody, we've got 178 people watching. Remember, if we get to 30 minutes and we have less than half of the people watching and likes, YouTube's going to kill the algorithm. So please like the stream. And like I said, when we get to 75 likes, we'll do our push-ups. When we get to 200 likes, we'll do a toast. When we get to 350 likes, we'll do a giveaway. Okay, Teak, if you want to leave, you can leave. No one's stopping you. So, RL, I'm currently in the service. So, thank you, Dr. Gamer. That's right, we are all sinners. None of us is going to be perfect. None of us is perfect. He focused on winning arguments in bad faith. What did he say that was racist? He twisted, manipulated, and influenced. He wasn't some saint. He was a tool for MAGA. By the way, I agreed with him often. I mean, he had conversations with people. He stated his opinion, and then when people would go against his opinion, he would state why he felt they were wrong. So, yeah, I'm interested to hear the whole why he was racist. Clearly, we see this from a different point. He only spoke for like 20 minutes, KP. He didn't deserve what happened. And what kind of hate was he spewing? No one has said. You're saying everyone that's in here that's against what Charlie Kirk stood for. You're saying that he was all these things. No one has actually said what he said that was hateful, that was racist, that was homophobic. No one has said that yet. No one has told me what words he spoke that were hateful, racist, or homophobic. And that is where the problem lies. The problem lies is that all you're doing is you're saying and you're regurgitating what you've been told about him because of where he stands. You haven't actually said any of the words that he said. Say something, say a phrase, type a phrase. Tell me what he said that is racist, that was hateful, that was homophobic, that was sexist. Someone tell me something he said, quote him, and tell me how that was racist. Second Perky, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. He said when airlines, like American Airlines, because that's the flight that he was on an American Airlines flight, and American Airlines had just announced that they were doing DEI hires, that they were trying to diversify their hires because they felt that diversity, equity, and inclusion was important. Okay? So he said, if diversity is the most important thing in a pilot, I hesitate and I have to ask myself, if you're focused too much on the fact that we have to hire pilots that are black or Asian or Indian or some other race or Muslim, okay, that aren't white, my question is, were they hired because of their race, or were they hired because of their qualifications? That is the problem with DEI in a nutshell. If DEI exists, people have to ask, were they hired because of their qualifications, or were they hired because they hit a check mark? That is what he said. He wasn't being racist. He was asking people to think critically. If there was a rule that said if there's a rule that says you have to have 8 black people that work for your company, all right? Does that mean you're going to go find the most qualified and highest paid black people to work for your company? Or as a company, if your bottom line is the dollar, and I'm not saying that all companies do this, but if that's what they're doing, are they going to try to find someone that's going to cost them lots of money? Or are they going to just fill the checkbox however they need to? That is what he was saying. All right? If we are basing anything in this world when it comes to employment, when it comes to capability, when it comes to professionalism, and when it comes to the things that they do, if we're basing it on anything other than their qualifications as a professional in that field, we're wrong. Do you want a doctor that was hired because of the color of their skin, or do you want a doctor that was hired because they are the best doctor in the world? KP, I obviously have a small penis. I don't mind it. Neither does my wife. And Also, the guns are because I like to collect guns, and yes, I also train for self-defense. So again, he isn't being racist when he's questioning DEI. He's saying, is it critical? He's being a critical thinker. He's asking the question that nobody wants to ask. Were they hired for their race, or were they hired for their qualifications? It's unfortunate, but it's the situation that we've been placed in because we know that that does happen. If you can't prove that it never happens, then you have to assume that it does happen. So, now that we've dispensed with he hated black people because he didn't, what else did he do that supposedly made him a terrible person, that supposedly meant he deserved to be shot? Because he didn't. No one deserves that. Second Perky, I just, like that, your argument is invalid, we just talked about it. That's not what he said. Thank you, Julio. Awesome, Ethan, I love it. Thank you, Chad. Armored Goat, I don't know what you mean by that, Armored Goat. Lion of God, I don't know what that means. Frank, how did he hate black people? Please tell me how he hated black people. Was it the part where he advocated for women, for black families to have fathers? That part? Was it the part where he said the social system and people that receive like government help that he agreed with because people need it sometimes? The part where he said single mothers shouldn't be awarded more money than families with fathers, or more benefits than families with fathers because it incentivizes fatherlessness? That part? Is that the part that was racist? Yes. Yes. A man advocating for fathers to remain a part of their children's lives. That's the type of person that deserved to be shot, right? That's what you're saying? Dirt cheap therapy, we talked about that. The reason that he asked that question is because American Airlines, he was specifically talking about how he was on a flight on American Airlines. And American Airlines had recently announced their push to advocate and to work towards DEI hires and make sure that diversity is the primary thing that they focus on when hiring pilots. So if they're focusing on diversity, race, sexuality, all those things that matter very little for someone who's going to fly 150 to 300 people from one part of the country to another, that's not what matters. What matters is, are they the best pilot? Are they the best trained? That's why he said he questions. And that's why he had the question, because he was flying on American, and American had just announced that the most important thing that they were going to focus on was diversity, not making sure that their pilots could fly fucking airplanes. Jorge, I'm not even looking at the screen half the time. Post a link, Jorge. Post a link to that video. Second Perky, you are saying you've brought up the second that same subject 3 times. Theo, because I can. And again, I bring up the fact. Okay, second Perky, what does DEI mean? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, what does that mean? If you have to have diversity, equity, and inclusion as a company, if that is required, what does it mean? I agree, Max. I agree. Yes, it means you give equal opportunity, but you also have to be equally skilled in order to obtain the opportunity. I'm not going to take someone whose experience is McDonald's and offer them the opportunity to fly an airplane. All right? You have to also be qualified to fly the airplane. But in the case of DEI, if you have people that got A's and no failures in their flight training, and you have people that had repeated failures and C's in their flight training, which one do you want flying the airplane? If we're using that as an example, if we give equal opportunity, the opportunity is you get to interview. But if you are not the more qualified person, why hire the less qualified person? Unless there's a mandate and the less qualified person happens to be a different race. Now, if the more qualified person is a different race, then by all means, hire them. But the race should matter very little. The qualifications should matter more. Anyways, Whirlybird, I don't necessarily believe in the separation of church and state. But since that's what it's supposed to be right now by law, that's what I stand by. That maybe isn't what the founding fathers wanted to a certain degree, but yeah. It doesn't. By its definition, it doesn't, Second Perky. I agree, Alltech. A lot of things are... Brody, I agree. I need more guns. Thank you, Dr. J Gamer, for donating to the channel. I don't necessarily advocate for name calling, but I don't mind that you donated to the channel. All you guys telling me I don't know what DEI is and I don't understand DEI, like my stepmom is black, my stepsister's black, and I work on a regular basis. My supervisor is a Native American, and none of them, they hate DEI. They absolutely hate DEI. So, that means objection. Well, their stance on it does mean something, Second Perky, but I appreciate you being the token white dude saying that I don't know what some of the black people that I know in my life and some of the other diversity people that I know in my life that are qualified to do what they do think about DEI. I appreciate your stance on it, that my opinion means jack shit, and that's great. That's part of the First Amendment. I appreciate it. But I'm going to take the opinions and the experiences of the diverse people that I know. I didn't even know you were in there. I thought you were upstairs.
No, I'm going to show us a video.
I'm going to take their opinion over yours, token white dude. The difference between, and that brings up another difference, and Charlie talked about this. The difference between a conservative is that a conservative will stand by someone who is not white or who is, of a diverse nature, and they'll say, what can I do to help? A leftist, especially a white leftist, will see black people or diversity people and say, we need to fight for them because they can't. What? And then you have the gall to call me the racist. Dirt cheap therapy, I can't speak, like, you can't tell me that people don't have the opportunity. Everyone in America has opportunities to succeed, has opportunities to do well. Now, if you're talking about a company not giving someone the opportunity, okay, if American Airlines doesn't want to give black people or Hindu people or Middle Eastern people or Asian people the opportunity to interview, that's on American Airlines. It's not on me. It's not my fault. That's their problem and their managers. Trand, I appreciate that. Thank you for the donation, and you are correct. I have an uncle who has a construction business in California, and he's required to have a certain number of non-white employees. He is required by law. He will lose his license. So, thank you. And like I said, everybody, when you donate to the channel, this is how we celebrate, and it goes towards more firearms for the channel. It's going to go towards the 1911 we're going to get for the channel, but it also is going to go towards the giveaway pistol for the channel. So, get a CAR 15. I have an AR 15. So,
Hey, Dad.
thank you, Julio.
Mom asked me to close the door.
Why?
For her bedroom. I think it's because you're being a little
Okay,
bit.
we're not going to close my door. We can close that door. Go close the door.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Thank you, Dirt Cheap. Thank you for donating, and I'm happy to. I'm glad to have the conversations with people. It's not exactly where I thought this conversation and the live stream would go, but I'm glad that we're having it. I'm glad that we can have a forum where we can have differing opinions. I'm gonna stand by my opinion. I don't have to change my mind. I don't have to change your mind. But putting the idea out there, it is not an echo chamber. It is a conversation. Just because I don't change my mind doesn't mean it's an echo chamber. It just means I disagree. We don't have to agree. That's one of the things that Charlie Kirk stood by is we don't have to agree. I can continue to keep my ideas. You can continue to keep your ideas. But we need to continue to talk and converse and disagree on those ideas because we have to plant the ideas that, hey, maybe they're wrong or maybe they're right. But if we don't ever have the conversation, that's when people decide to murder each other because they don't like what they hear. I don't have to agree with you. That's the whole point of the First Amendment. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to change your mind. You don't have to change your mind. If you want to keep your ideas, keep your ideas. The whole point of having conversations is to just talk about ideas. All right? Whether I change my mind or you change your mind, that's left up to us as individuals. That's part of the First Amendment. That's part of individual freedom of rights. All right? When you silence someone by murdering them, that's not having a conversation. That is acting out of fear. It's acting out of hatred. It's acting out of, I don't like what they have to say and I don't want to listen anymore. Well, that's a skill issue on your part. Thank you, Infidel. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, Charlie wouldn't advocate for going to war. Now, I think you should be prepared because the violence that happens in the world is advocated for much more heavily on the left than it is on the right. And anybody who wants to fight me on that, like, they can, but you're wrong. I hear you, gunshots. I'm not going to advocate I'm not going to advocate for anyone to commit violence. I'll never advocate for that. I think that you should be capable of it, and that if it is warranted, then yes, you should be violent when necessary. But I have a couple ammo boxes down there, and I've got some more ammo underneath my desk. All right, I just saw we're at 109 likes, so that means we're going to pause the conversation. We're going to talk about mental health and mental illness, and I'm going to do push-ups. Exactly, Epic. Whether you agree with me or not, whether any of you agree with me or not, I don't mind if you don't agree with me. I don't care if you don't agree with me. I think that I'm right, and that's, you know, it's served me pretty well so far. But you don't have to agree with me. What you don't get to do is you don't get to murder me. Now, someone decided that they should be allowed to murder someone. And that's what happened to Charlie Kirk. They decided, I don't like what Charlie Kirk says. I don't like what he stands for. I think that he's this, that, and the other, so I'm going to kill him. And that's what he did. And that is not acceptable. That is an act of war. That's what tyrants do. That's what dictators do. That's what fascists do. So we're going to put a pause on the conversation. I said when we hit 75 likes, we talk about mental health and mental illness. I take off my jacket. So every time we do a live stream, I bring this up. If you've been to my channel before, you'd see I do 22 push-ups every day. Because every day 22 veterans and military, they take their own lives because of the turmoil of life, because of mental health, because of the trauma that they've experienced, because they just don't want to keep fighting to live. So I do a video every day where I do 22 push-ups, and we try to incorporate not just veterans and military, but that's kind of where it started. If you're struggling, if you're hurting emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, if there's something going on and you're thinking that the only thing you can do to fix it is to harm yourself or harm others, please stop. Please take like 5 minutes and go talk to somebody. If you are on the verge of making the act happen, please call 911. Like, first and foremost, call 911. If you've just been thinking about it and you're not sure what to do and the world feels like it's going to collapse on you, please call 988. That is the national hotline for self-harm. They will talk to you. They'll send services out to help you. They'll give you some resources that you can use in your state, in your community. There are lots of different groups that are out there. If you don't want to talk to any of those people and you're just struggling and you don't feel like there's anybody you can call or speak with, please email me. Literally, like, I have people that I have talked to and that I have emailed with that have said, I hate your channel, I hate your guns, I hate the things that you say, but I'm struggling. Will you talk to me? And I have talked with them. I've had conversations with them. That, first and foremost, okay, taking your own life, harming yourself or harming others is not a solution. All it does is causes more harm to the people around you that care about you. I promise you. People in your life love you and care about you, even if they disagree with you. Even if we disagree in this instance. It doesn't mean that I want anything bad to happen to you. It doesn't mean that I want you to harm yourself or harm others. I don't want ill will towards you. I don't want you to be unsuccessful in your endeavors. I want you to have a happy life. I want everyone to have a happy, productive, and fulfilling life. I don't care how you do it, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else and doesn't take away from anyone else. All right? So we're going to do our push-ups. We do push-ups for 1 minute when we do this. For those of you that don't know, the reason we do push-ups for 1 minute is because I'm in the Air Force Reserve. I have to do push-ups every year for my fitness test. I just took it on Wednesday and I got a 91, so I'm very happy with that. But we do push-ups for 1 minute and we try to max out. So if you want to join me, if you want to do the push-ups, I see everybody, a bunch of people left. That's fine. I'm sure that they were tired of hearing me disagree with them, but this is what we do on the channel. We get to a certain number of likes and we take a minute to pause, we calm down, we do something that is promoted, that is fulfilling, and that is helpful for mental health, for physical health, and just for emotional uplifting. So let's do push-ups, let's raise awareness. You can join me, you don't have to. You can watch me, you can make fun of my push-ups, everybody does. It's fine, I get it, I'm an Air Force guy. I do shitty push-ups, I don't care. So, but we're gonna do our push-ups. And like I said, if there's someone you know that's hurting or struggling, like share this stream with them. I will stop if someone's hurting and they say, hey, I really need to talk to somebody. I've done that with my streams. I've stopped and I've called them or I've emailed with them and chatted with them. I've had those conversations. I'll do that if that's what's going on. If you know someone who's hurting, be the advocate for them to hurt a little less. All right, let's do some push-ups. Three, two, one. Okay, I'm gonna call that. If I counted right, I think I was at like 70. And I know, I get it. They were not great push-ups. And that's fine. Wasn't trying to do perfect push-ups. But it was something to raise awareness and to support people that are hurting. Especially right now, there's a lot of people that are scared and hurting and sad and not sure what's happening. People on the left are just as scared that because of what happened to Charlie Kirk, the people on the right are going to come after them. The people on the right are scared that they can't say things that the people on the left don't like, because one of the nicest, most professional men in the world, when it came to going out and putting himself out there to have conversations, was just murdered for it. Thank you, Brody. Thank you. All right. Dust. I know. I get why you feel that way, but that doesn't mean that's what I advocate for. Smoke, I agree. Hey, bud, how's it going? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So once I cool off, I'll put the vest back on. Put the jacket back on. Okay, also, thank you. We're now at 132 likes. If we get 65 more likes, or if we get up to 200, we'll do our toast. We'll do our gin toast. And we'll, after that, if we get to 350 likes, I'll do a giveaway. I'll send someone a hat like this, a snake, like Snecky down here, or I will send a great big mug like this, but it'll say "We the People" on it. Because whether you're left or whether you're right, whether you're conservative or liberal, we're still all Americans, and we the people stand for what we are. Local American. I'm a tech sergeant. Here, I've had plenty of people on this stream that have been condescending to me. The difference is I'm not advocating for the people that were rude. I wasn't advocating for their death. That's the difference. Yeah, it's one thing to be rude and condescending even. There's a difference between being condescending though and threatening. And that is where the problem lies. Just because someone says something in a way that you don't like and about something you don't like doesn't mean they're being violent and advocating for your death. That's what happened to Charlie. That's the conversation that I've been trying to have this whole time. It shouldn't matter what Charlie Kirk was saying and how he was saying it. He was not. The response should not have been murder him. But that's what happened. So anyways. All right. Miller, I can't because of my rotator cuff. If I do that, my shoulders slide out of their sockets. So I know that if my rotator cuffs didn't need some serious repair, if I had my arms closer, then it would be probably easier for me to get even more push-ups because I wouldn't be doing it from the outside and doing more of my bicep, and it would be more just my chest. I understand. I appreciate it though. Thank you. Hey, Casual, what's going on, buddy? Military, yes, historian, I do remember. Dude, how's the match going, Ammo? Everybody, please go check out Ammo Alchemist. He's one of my buddies. He's also a content creator, and he has apparently he's been at a pistol match today. So, hats off to him. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's having fun. So, I don't think I'm double jointed. Yeah, I am winded. I am winded a little bit. I know that I'm not in great shape. So, I also ate like a giant freaking carne asada fries burrito right before I came down here. So I have like a huge gut bomb right now. So, okay, where are we? Tactical Dad, dude, what's going on, buddy? What did Orange Smoke say? Did anyone see the stuff about? I did see about the Nepal insurrection. They did. I think a lot of people. I think when I started talking about mental health and trying to do something that like wasn't causing frustration and like an echo chamber of just like yelling at each other and talking about why they're right. I think that's when people started leaving.
Alright, Ezra and I are gonna head towards the Pokemon.
You guys are gonna go to the Pokemon thing?
Yeah.
Is Mackie going with you?
I don't know. I won't be able to stay because of the pageant thing.
What time is the pageant thing?
Like 5.
Okay, so it starts at 2.
I know. Ezra, I'm telling Dad.
I know.
So it starts at 2. Just when you need to leave, then he's gonna need to leave.
Can't you like just pick me up?
I guess I could, but I mean, how long is it gonna be? Is it gonna be 4 hours?
I don't think it'll be 4 hours.
Okay.
But like,
What do you need to do to get ready for your pageant stuff?
It's literally just like a plan, like going over a plan. So I was gonna go sell some cards, check it out for a little bit, and then leave. And drop off Ez.
Okay, you know if you don't stay, then you won't get some of the new cards. I don't think. I think that's the whole point of the release. So,
Okay.
if you don't have to be there until 5, I think you could reasonably, if you don't need to get ready or do anything, you could reasonably just get to your planning thing. Leave at like 4:30. Sorry, being a dad, gotta be a dad, even when the live stream's going.
Okay, it's at 6, so I can probably do that.
I think.
Alright.
Okay. All right.
Ready?
You guys have fun. See if Mackie wants to go.
Alright.
Yeah.
I think Charlie Kirk was killed because people didn't like what he had to say. I think that people didn't like what he had to say, and I think that there's a lot of people, and I kind of had this conversation with my brother. Like, I get that there's vitriol on both sides of the aisle. That's why I don't align myself as a Republican or a Democrat. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not an independent. Not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I am a conservative, first and foremost. When you think about the things that are said in this world, and this is where I think it's a very unfair comparison, but I just don't know how to compare it any other way. When people talk about how Charlie Kirk supported fascism, or that he was a racist, or a sexist, or an anti-Semite, they'd say all these things. When certain people would say those things, or believe those things, what is that derived from? What is that derived from? Is that from sitting down and watching Charlie Kirk talk to people? Is that how you made... Boot Boy. Okay, Boot Boy. You're saying his whole shtick was pissing people off. You go around every day trying to piss people off. Eventually someone's going to do something. Politics aside, he was just kind of a dick. Okay. Have you ever watched a full episode of Charlie Kirk's Prove Me Wrong? Have you ever watched that? Later, gamer. That's my question. Have you ever watched a full thing? Like a full 2 hour, like, because he'd go to campuses and they'd record the whole thing. Sometimes they do it live, and you could watch it live. Did you ever watch one of those live for the full amount of time? I have. Just like I watched Real Time with Bill Maher. Just like I watch, what's the other one? Yesterday, next Tuesday or next Saturday. With John Oliver. Okay, so again, I'm asking the question. You're stating things about him while openly admitting that you've never actually watched him or seen him. Okay, you watch a movie for 2 hours. That's people talking for 2 hours. Brody, no, I'm talking to Boot Boy, 69. Hey, again, Boot Boy, I'm asking, how do you know what the other side actually believe? How do you know what the other side believes? The opposition to what you believe, if you don't study what they believe. Study what you believe, stand by your beliefs, but you also have to understand what your opposition is if you're going to fight against it. Okay, so did you watch him? So you're saying you watched him, but did you watch it from someone who supported him or someone who didn't? Because I can go get clips of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying, Trump's a fascist, Trump's a fascist, Trump's a fascist, Trump's a fascist, Trump's a fascist. I can go post that on my YouTube and on my X and Facebook. I can post that and just say, all she cares about is whether is painting Trump as a fascist. I can do that. But that doesn't actually tell me what she believes. Why wouldn't I want to post something about how, she said it was terrible that Charlie Kirk was murdered? Or post something about how when Ilyana Kratskia was murdered in Charlotte. Or when the two Democratic congresswoman and her husband were murdered in Minnesota. Standing up for that. What about things where she says it's great to see when there's peace in the world, or like she was frustrated at the way Donald Trump handled Iran, but she agreed that Iran having nuclear weapons was bad. Why wouldn't I want to see that? That's the question I'm asking. If you're only consuming something from the perspective of what you want to support, that is an echo chamber. You have to be willing to go and expose yourself from the perspective of your opposition to say that you are making informed decisions. If not, you're making them from an ignorant to at least part of the story position. And that's the problem. We have too many people on one side saying, if you even listen to them, then you are one of them. Okay? So on the left, the idea is if you listen or try to study or get their perspective, you're just as bad as them. On the right, we're saying, yeah, go listen to the other side. Go study the other side. Listen to what they have to say and tell us, like, decide for yourself. Does that align with what you want to believe? Listen to our message, listen to their message, then make your decision. Why is that bad? Why is that bad? Why is asking people to think critically and make decisions based on informed intelligence from both sides of an argument, why is that bad? You're saying that you can think for yourself, but you're also saying things that that are radical and disruptive and are not showing any level of like critical thinking. You're just saying he was a dick all the time, so he deserved to get shot. What? That's not. And you want us to listen to your opinion, but you're saying F you and all your opinions and all the things that you're saying. I don't have to listen to it. I can make decisions for myself. We formulate opinions and decisions based upon the information that we receive and consume. That's how we make those decisions, man. Well, I'm not exactly a saint, gunshots. Everyone in here who is subscribed to my channel for more than, 5 minutes knows that I'm not a saint. There's a reason why I have this. Okay? I am definitely be prepared to inflict as much violence as necessary to end a threat completely and send a message that says, do not do what happened ever again to me. But that doesn't mean that I think you should go do that when it's not warranted. Thank you, Phantom. I appreciate it. Dust cover. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair, gunshots. So that's what I mean. But I'm not ignorant. Thanks, zombie. What do I think about gun? So that is a great question. I think gun violence is terrible, but I also think that gun violence is something that will always exist in the world. Guns exist, therefore gun violence will exist. Now, if you want to expand, if you want to expand on the question, I'm happy to discuss it a little bit more. I don't think, gun violence is never going to go away. And the way that gun violence is portrayed, when people say that there were, when people talk about statistics and they say 150,000 people in the United States are affected by gun violence, what they're saying is the 55,000 people that died from a firearm in some situation probably were either married. There's usually one or two people that they associate with, and so the bystanders, the emotional bystanders, are affected by gun violence. So that's where. Hey, what's going on, Blythe? That's where I ask the question. When you say gun violence, what are you referring to? Correct, mechanic. Correct. Gun violence does include suicide. Do I think Hitler is worse or Stalin? I think they were fairly equal. Personally, I think Mao is worse than both of them. No, I think it should be less moderated. Yeah. Jim Smith, that's an excellent question. Unfortunately, it's not ever tracked. Yeah, that statistic isn't tracked. I agree. I agree, Jim. I think that would be an excellent thing to track. The problem is that even when good people who are civilians, and I think there was a report that the FBI announced that says that they actually have a better idea as to what that statistic actually is. They just it's just been very flawed. I'm saying flawed, but I think we all know what I'm really saying. I like how as soon as I started, I'm just laughing because we have 65 people watching, and I like how as soon as I said, hey, let's pause the conversation so that we can do something uplifting, everybody left. That really tells you a lot about the people that were in here and what their goal was, I think. No, Hare, I think you're correct in the sense that this kid's mind was very much poisoned because he couldn't think critically. So, I will shut up and they all scared. Yeah, that's true, Brody. That's fair. Gun, who are you talking to, bud? Oh, I mean, everyone has different opinions, and I get like, oh, Godfather, this is quiet now. We had like 500 people in here earlier, and then when I started doing push-ups, they all left. But thanks for stopping in. Gunshots, you are definitely, I love when you're in here. Because you are definitely you are definitely my outspoken patriot. So, I actually know a lot of Canadians, like especially people from Alberta and like British Columbia. And I liked Charlie Kirk, and I don't think he deserved to be murdered because he said things people don't like. That sucked, zombie. Most Albertans are pretty conservative. Hair, what's funny is I think that Puerto Rico is actually more opposed to becoming the 51st state than Canada is. Nocturnal, let's not say his name. Can you? I would prefer if we don't say his name. Yeah, the reports on from the media, he was an unregistered voter. He wasn't. He's old enough to vote. He never registered as a Republican. It sounds like his family was Republican. But there's also some new information coming out about his roommate that reported some stuff to authorities, and the Discord group that he was in, and it's looking like some of the ideas and some of the planning for what this was may have happened with more than just him. The roommate may have been a bit more involved than initially thought, and that some of the radicalization may have been because of the relationship between him and his roommate. That's part of it. I think it's terrible that the Palestinian people chose to elect a terrorist organization to lead their country, and then now that organization is hiding behind civilians who elected them. I try to think in good faith, but now they're being murdered, and their response is to blame Israel for their government attacking Israel, and Israel just having enough of, we're tired of being attacked, and we're tired of them blaming us for all the problems. That's where I stand on Palestine. Gotcha, gunshots. I love it. How close are we to the end of time? There's a lot of stuff that still has to happen according to the book of Revelations before the end of time. I did answer your question. What's up, Silas? Yep, Ammo, I'm with you. Oh, you're getting the scan on Monday? Shots? Let me, if you're comfortable, dude, reach out to me. I want to know how things go. Yeah, unfortunately for me, Zombie, that was something. I think the people in Canada take what Donald Trump says far too seriously. I think he says things to get attention and to rile people up. I don't think he has any interest at all in making Canada a state. Do I think it's a genocide? No. If it was a genocide, none of them would be alive. Everyone would be in camps. They would be forcing them to create the weapons to continue to fight them, and they wouldn't be trying to find some way to help in any way. Alexander, I haven't. You took 9th, dude. That's awesome, Ammo. Didn't That's like way better than you did in the past, isn't it? What'd you do on your last one before that? I know you want to be number. I want you to be number 1 too, buddy. Crixley, I'm going to be honest. This is the first time I've ever seen you in here. I'm probably not going to give you a mod. I don't think he was wearing a metal plate. I think he was wearing just a Kevlar vest, just the woven vest. I know there's been some things about like seeing his nipples. Like Kevlar vests can have stuff to make it look more natural. So Crixley, yes, everything behind me is real. Silas, yes. There were people in here earlier that were, to a degree, celebrating that. So, Vortex, it depends on your age. To get a perfect score for push-ups for me, I only have to do 44 push-ups. For someone who's under 18, you have to do like 68. Yeah, Liam, thank you. Jim, he did use a 30-06. Hey, as long as it's better than 21st, as long as it's something between 9th and 21st, I would say. Exactly, her. And that's what I mean. When people are saying, this guy aimed for Charlie's neck because he wouldn't shoot because he suspected he had a vest. I was like, he had a 30-06. He didn't care about the vest. Code, yeah, armor's wrench. Crixley, I am. Cole, for a home defense shotgun, for an inexpensive one. So here's the problem. When it comes to like a shotgun, there are lots of really inexpensive shotguns that are out there, but I don't know that I would use it for home defense. I don't know that I would go less than like $500 for a home defense shotgun. Now, if you find one used, there's some brands, and so actually, Smoke, are you in here? If Smoke's in here, Smoke. Make some recommendations. So Smoke is like my resident shotgun dude. All right, I have some. I know how to use them. I'm pretty good with them. But Smoke knows way more about shotguns. He has way more of them than me. Smoke, I would say, what would you say? Like Mossbergs are great for under 500. Some Winchesters. If you can find, if it's for home defense, like a shorter barrel shotgun for home defense. I'm trying to think. I would say pump or semi-auto. I wouldn't do a single shot or a double barrel for home defense. Dust, I don't think he was a recreational shooter. I think that based on what they've said about his family, he probably grew up doing some hunting. And hold on, guys. Sorry. Hello.
I need my player ID.
I don't know your player ID. It should be on your Pokemon account if you log into Pokemon on the website.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. I thought you had it and that you logged into your player account or your. Yeah, I think it's on your. If you log in with yours, I think you'll find it. Okay. Okay.
Okay, 1 second.
All right. Bye. Sorry, being a dad. Okay, recreational. Was he a recreational shooter? I don't think he was a recreational shooter. I think because it said that like his dad worked for the sheriff's department down in Washington. My guess is that he grew up probably going hunting every once in a while, probably did hunter safety. He probably had decent exposure to firearms, went to the range every once in a while. I don't think he was probably the most proficient, but again, like he probably knew enough to sight in a scope, to bore sight it, to zero it at 100 yards, and the 30-06, if it wasn't already a family firearm, He probably bought it at a pawn shop or somewhere used, and just asked them, hey, what's really good deer ammo? That's probably what he did, is my guess. I don't. So the old guy thing, I don't know how I feel about the old guy thing, because they obviously went after him for a reason, and he was screaming, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. So I don't know. Like, I don't have a lot of sympathy in that regard. Like, when it feels like you're trying to get the cops to like unalive you, that's really weird. Yeah, it's a little. So again, H. So the neck shot, we kind of talked about this at the very beginning of the stream. The neck shot, I honestly think the neck shot was more like this kid threw a nat 20 on his multi-sided die. I think he was probably aiming right here for Charlie's heart, or he was aiming for Charlie's head. And because he wasn't a proficient shooter, but he was shooting from less than 200 yards away, less than 150 yards away, with a 30-06, with probably pretty decent hunting ammo, so pretty flat trajectory, fast moving, and then something that when it starts to hit its target is gonna mushroom really well. I think that's why, if you saw the video, like why the hole was so big and why there was such a large amount, because a 223, a 556, even a 308, I don't think would have reacted quite as violently as that. I think he was using a specific type of hunting ammo, and again, aiming either for the head or for the heart, knowing that his ammo would do what it needed to do, even if he was wearing Kevlar, and I think it just happened to hit the neck. Ethan, I don't think it was completely beginner's luck. I don't think it was that, because I think he knew how to shoot. I just don't think he knew how to shoot well. But again, he had if you look at the picture of the rifle, the scope was it was like a 10x scope. So we've got a 10x scope on a solid platform, some kind of bolt, a Mauser action, whether it was an actual Mauser rifle or whether it was like an Axis with a Mauser bolt. It was 30-06, which is a very reliable, under 400 yards flat shooting round. I think he probably zeroed to 100 yards and aimed for the head or the chest, and just happened to either not accommodate for the 150 yards, which because he aimed at the head and hit the neck, or he pulled it a little bit, and instead of it hitting in his chest, it went up. That's what I think. So, Jim, yeah, no, I know that Mausers can be converted, but when people talk about so the bolt that's on a Springfield 1903, the bolt, that action, that type of bolt, that's Mauser. That bolt is specifically the Mauser style. So that's what I don't know is, was it actually a Mauser rifle, or was the action, the bolt on it, was it just a Mauser style bolt? Because the Mauser bolt is probably the most effective, reliable bolt style and action in a bolt rifle on the planet. My personal opinion. Yeah, Smoke, I'm with you. I mean, do you guys know I have a pretty reliable, fairly expensive shotgun here that I dropped on the ground and it broke. So, I mean, I think it just so Otto, they've done a lot of analysis. From what I can tell, he chucked the rifle when, the video that they've shown, They don't close up on him until after he's already halfway off the roof. I think he chucked the rifle before he jumped off, before they zoomed in on him. Ricky, I don't have 300 blackout. I don't think he was aiming at the throat. That's not what a sniper would do. That's not what an actual sniper would do. And I don't think this guy had the forethought to do that. I think he just wanted to make Charlie Kirk not alive. It's the same. It's kind of the same concept that I've talked about on these live streams. Like, you don't have to shoot at this and get an MOA of this at 15 yards on a regular basis. When you're training for self-defense, train for this. This is the size target you should be training at. This is what you need to hit. Okay, Joe, that sounds fine. You can come try it. Yeah, there are some good semi-auto shotguns that are out there, and some pump action shotguns that are reliable. That are Turkish. I like the Turkish ones. I like the Panzer shotguns. They're I mean, 7.62 by 39 isn't bad. SKSs, like an AK, like they'll run in almost any condition. Unfortunately, like that's probably the best that you're going to get there in Canada is an SKS, if you can still get it. I would say an AR, because 5.56 I think is a little bit more reliable than 7.62. Or if you can't get an AR in Canada, maybe a lever gun that's in 308 or 5.56. Something that's easy to get here in the Western Hemisphere, in North America. 5.56, 223, and 308 are all really, really easy rounds to find, and they're all very reliable. Ethan, I do still have exotic ammo stickers. I need to give these away. I think when we hit, like, I'll have to add up where we're at. I think we're only at like $300 towards the 911 or the 1911. So I think when we hit like the $500 mark, I'm going to send out some exotic ammo. I actually have another box from exotic ammo. I was going to open it. on the live stream and show off what it is. But I didn't know how that would go with the live stream. That sucks, Hair. Sorry, my son just texted me. I think super safeties are fun for the range. It was a 30-06, Dusty. It was a 30-06. I think they're fun for the range. But I don't think that they're practical for much more than that. So, no, I wouldn't use the super safety for self-defense. Maybe if it was like a shit hit the fan scenario and you needed to do like fire suppression. But yeah, I think other than that right now, a super safety or an FRT, that's fun for fun. It's just for fun. You're not gonna shoot practically with it. It's not fast enough for it to be accurate the way that like a full auto can be accurate. People that say full auto isn't accurate, they haven't shot full auto. Maybe 3-round burst isn't as accurate, but like full auto, if you have a full magazine and you have a full auto, like you can get that dialed in pretty quick. If you've never shot a full auto MP5 or P90 or M4, anything like that, if you ever get a chance, go do it. You'll see how quick you actually can get it dialed in. It might not be accurate at first, but if you have the if you learn and practice, you can dial in a full auto pretty well. Oh, nice. I like it, Smoke. I like it. I'm not surprised by that, Dust. I've been saying that for a long time. Nice. That's true. They aren't as scary. Auto, yes. I doubt it, Auto. I don't think it's going to be what's going to tone down rhetoric. I think it's going to open conversations about rhetoric, but I don't think it's going to tone down the rhetoric. Yeah, and Otto, thank you for donating $5. That helps us. That helps us to be closer to buying the 1911. That's what we're trying to do, is buy a 1911 for the channel. I don't know. Yeah, I get that, Dust. I get that, Dust. There we go. Dry Fire Nerf desk pops for donations. So W's to Otto for donating. Jorge the Gun Lover. Hello, bud. But, oh, man. Well, this conversation really cooled off. I mean, I was having fun having the conversation, but I think as soon as I wasn't being angry and later zombie and like feeding what the other dudes felt, I think that's when the conversation started to die. But anyways, guys, we're 90 minutes in. I hear you, Jorge. I think we're gonna call it for the afternoon. I might do another live stream later tonight. I just wanted to, I wanted to reach out. I wanted to do a live on this. I wanted to make sure that I talked about things the way that I wanted to. Obviously, the conversation always drives the chat always drives the conversation. But I appreciate all you guys being here and standing by. Hopefully, we'll get to we'll get to 200 likes later today if we do another stream later tonight, and then 350 so that we can do a giveaway, and we'll go from there. So that's okay, Dust. You're allowed to. Like, that's the thing. We're allowed to say our opinions. That's what Charlie stood for. He stood for talk about things, whether people agree with you or not. That was the other thing that people didn't like. When I said, I don't care if you agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. And they got mad that I wasn't gonna just like change my mind because they were mad, and that I didn't care if I changed their mind. When you remove that expectation of I'm here to change your mind, okay? And I think that's kind of one of the differences between like Steven Crowder and Charlie Kirk. I think that's why Charlie Kirk was more effective and got bigger crowds and was more well loved than Steven Crowder would do, because Steven Crowder would be like, come change my mind. And we knew that was going to get much more volatile. Whereas Charlie Kirk, he'd listen to people and he'd say, oh, I don't agree with that. He might not always be nice about it, but there's a difference between being nice and being direct and being truthful to oneself. So, all right, guys, I love you. Thanks for sticking around. 95 minutes in, 150 likes. Well, I'll let you guys know later how the stream did overall. I'm guessing we were at about 10 to 15,000. So pretty good, given that I haven't been streaming most of this week. And we'll try and do one either later tonight, and we'll do one tomorrow. So, love you guys. Stay zesty. Stay sexy. Always carry every day. And always carry with a round in the chamber. Till next time.